जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ಲಕ್ನೋ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
Hyderabad Ruturaj Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
That's some good coffee. Coffee. That's some good. I've been doing the Hindi show for many days, so now I've come back to the English show. I just have to learn how to speak English again. Trying to say the word in the correct Boston accent. Coffee. I have two people here who are experts in the Boston accent. Maybe you'd like to help me? Cup of coffee.
I'm an expert in coffee.
All right.
Because New Zealand, Australia do the best cups of coffee in the world.
That is true. So. Why have you put Australia in it?
Yeah, why have you put New Zealand in it?
Yeah.
Hey, whoa. Jeepers. Are we going to get off on this foot straight away? It's the first time I've seen you in months, and we're starting. I probably started it last night.
Just to explain yourself, because I want to know what the difference in the coffee bean of New Zealand is to the coffee bean in Australia.
It's the quality of the milk in both countries.
So to do with the bean.
Where India struggle mostly is the quality of the milk in the coffee.
So that's how it's going to be, huh?
In the coffee.
So he's blaming you now.
Yeah, you're saying milk's not good enough for you.
It's your fault now.
Oh.
It's your fault now.
That's us. Yeah. Is that because we don't have sheep's milk? Is that why you're upset?
Just saying. Hard to find a good coffee.
Well, the thing is, I am just impressed that it has taken 10 to 12 seconds for the sledging to begin. Because I didn't think it would take that long, considering how things went last night. I'll bring you up to speed. Do we have a recap? We should have one of those previously on Cricbuzz Live. I'll just narrate it myself. Just cut to good. Michael and Simon. Previously on Cricbuzz Live, Michael and Simon wanted to have a go at each other. Is it going to be a boxing match? You can't cut to the narrator. What are you doing? Is this your first time? Of course, we have Simon and Michael. Yeah, hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Introductions come 3 minutes into the show. As you must have become aware by now, this is and was Cricbuzz Live. I am Gaurav Kapur. And I have with me in the red corner the golfing enthusiast from New Zealand and Australia, apparently, right? As he just self-confessed.
He lives in the UK.
Yeah, he's
And Dubai.
Right?
I've got the corners of the earth covered.
Yeah, of no fixed address, Mr. Simon Doull. And in the, what corner were you in?
I was in the red one.
Whatever the other one is. The orange corner, let's make you. We have the street cricket enthusiast from somewhere near Manchester. Not exactly Manchester. Close to Manchester Airport.
Close enough.
Yeah, Cheshire. The Cheshire Cat. Yeah. Grinning like the Cheshire Cat. Mr. Michael Vaughan. Are you both going to have a go at each other is what everybody wants to know. No. And is the go going to be physical or is it going to be emotional warfare and words which can hurt sometimes?
Can you explain what we're having a go at each other for?
Whatever it was for last night.
Well
I didn't watch the show, so I've just been told.
Rishabh Pant was on the plane, apparently, and I just didn't have him on the team. He's in the team, he's on the plane, he's got the first boarding pass, and apparently he's first on the plane, and I just thought I wanted to see more.
There you go. You're right. So I agree and disagree with Michael, right? I agree with him that he should be on the team, first on the team. I disagree with him. He should not be first on the flight because then you have to wait for everyone to board. The real privilege, priority boarding, is to board last. Right? But you are saying that you haven't. But I'll tell you, we can even start another debate probably in our comments, so people can send us tweets or X's or whatever it is, about who that wicket-keeper batter will be. Because we have got, like you shake a tree and 3 fall out.
And that's the thing. I just want to see more from him. Coming back from that horrific accident, you want him to get through the entire IPL first. And get through games and look fit and look rearing to go. And he played a very good innings the other night in a losing cause. But I just want to see him get through the tournament. And I'm not prepared to just give him the boarding pass just yet. Yes, he's unbelievably talented, but I'm just going to hold on to it. I'm going to keep him hungry.
I think I'll tell you why I agree with you, why he should be on that flight. There was that first 2 games, probably not. Then I saw him hit that one-handed six. As soon as he hits the one-handed six, you're like, Rishabh's back!
I believe a 65% fit Rishabh Pant will improve the Indian team. I think he's that good. I think he's got a Midas touch. Anyone that can stroll out to face Mitchell Starc and just flick it into the stands first ball. T20 cricket's about hitting sixes.
Yeah.
Rishabh Pant can hit sixes. Simple as that.
Okay, good. There's no fight happening here. I thought... put the boxing gloves away. It's fine. We don't need them. Well, there's also two very gentle teams playing today. They don't have boxing gloves, these teams. There's Hyderabad. It's all about, well-mannered. It's Tehzeeb. There's the Chennai team that, barely shows any negative. Actually, it doesn't show any negative emotion ever on the field, of course, led by their captain. Whether they win or they lose, when you look at them, you can't tell. In fact, the previous game, they lost, but you would think from their fans that they had won. And they weren't even their fans. They were the visiting team in Vizag. But that's how it rolls with Chennai. When you won 5 trophies, your fans give you a little bit of leeway. Let's have a look at the points table, because no one's giving any leeway here. Right, they're all coming hard at each other. There's Chennai, of course. If they win today, they don't go top of the points table. It's got to be a very big win for them. But to get 1.5 points on the net run rate, it would have to be an innings defeat, perhaps. But yeah, they can be right up top with the Knight Riders. But here's the thing. If Hyderabad can win today, and that's tough because at home, things are never that good for them. They haven't been, looking at the data from last.
Well, you mentioned they're at home, but they're not really at home, are they?
That's true. It's all yellow.
The Yellow Army have arrived, MS Dhoni's fan club. So Hyderabad are at home, but they're not at home.
They're finding it easier to get tickets away than they are in Chennai. So that's what's happening with the MS Dhoni faithful. Are finding it so difficult to get tickets in Chennai that they're now travelling because, I think they believe, and who's to say when he's ever going to call an end to his career, but they believe it might be the last chance to see him. So they're flooding to out grounds, to opposition grounds, to try and fill it up to maybe get a last glimpse, because they cannot get tickets at home for love nor money.
What I was told is that when the Hyderabad-Chennai tickets went on sale, apparently they were bought up by Chennai fans in 2 hours or something. Right, in 2 hours. So it's going to be yellow, right? And that's the thing with MS Dhoni. It's a home game for him wherever he plays, right? You can take him to any part of the country. You can take him to Eden Gardens, and there itself it looks, it looks yellow. But that's what all home teams have to play against. And I have a feeling that even Chinnaswamy, which is perhaps the most die-hard home team support, I think even they get a tad yellow. When it comes to, they get a bit of yellow fever.
There'll be 5 or 6 Virat shirts as well.
Yeah,
but not many.
More, I think. So that's yeah. There's going to be Virat.
I challenge you to spot them.
There's going to be yellow shirts and a few Virat shirts. That's what's going to happen. All right. Of course, their fans are traveling. I'll tell you who else is traveling in Hyderabad. The bowlers. 525 runs hit. Simon Doull, could you tell us in 50 words or less why be a bowler? And I will perfectly accept the answer if you say don't.
It's tough. It's getting a lot tougher. The impact substitute means that batting sides are so much deeper now, batting at 6, 7, 8. They've got genuine players coming in. So bowlers are going to travel. I think we have to adjust our sights a little bit on RPO from a bowling point of view. Whereas 6, 7, 8 was unbelievably good. Some greats are under 7.
Yeah.
I think now we're looking at that 8, 9, 10 mark being very good in the modern game because of the impact substitute.
But they were so good batting last time. Could you then, Michael Vaughan, explain to me in 50 words or less why Hyderabad has won the toss and decided to field first?
Possibly because they feel that they can chase anything. I think they probably think that it's a different soil. I think it's a different coloured soil, so it might not be as good a pitch, but let's be honest, the Mumbai Indians weren't far off that 277. At one stage, it looked like they might be doing the unexpected, but I think most teams at night, they like to know what they're chasing. The dew generally comes into play and the ball skids on. I believe in T20 cricket, it's almost irrelevant what you do. You've just got to do it well.
Yeah.
You've just got to get the mindset, and I think where KKR have been strong this year, they've won both ways. And they've won both ways convincingly. And that's what really good T20 teams can do. The toss is almost irrelevant. That they just, obviously, tonight they want to chase, but I don't think it had made much of a difference.
All right. Of course, the one big news coming from the Hyderabad team, and we were going to, of course, discuss their batting lineup and how well their batting is done, is that Mayank Agarwal is not playing because he is unwell.
Are you trying to say he's been dropped?
I'm just saying what
Well, why are you giving it this for unwell?
He was sick at being dropped.
Perhaps.
Basically.
I'm just, we get a lot of this.
Don't think we're in an era.
What about, is he not in the impact subs? Because remember, we get their bowling team.
Pat Cummins has said on the toss that he is
not
unwell.
well.
Okay, unwell. All right, so he's out.
We are in an era that, in our days playing, you were dropped.
Yeah.
That's right.
You were axed out of the team, not good enough. This era, you don't hear many teams say he's not picked because he's not good enough. He's
Well,
dropped.
you can't be mean to players, can you?
No.
No. You can't say anything that's slightly mean to them because otherwise they get upset.
Yeah. He's got a sniffle.
Go off and see the head doctor.
He's got a sniffle. Got a sore toe.
I love how this is how the elderly talk back in our day, you know.
That's it.
We were picked on when we were dropped.
That's right.
I never thought we'd get there, but we are.
These kids, they're just way too soft. All right, let's have a look at the teams and see who's taking who into the field. We were talking about Pat Cummins, so let's have a look at who he is taking. They're, of course, going to be bowling first, but this is their team. Natarajan is back in, so that's good news for them. And they, of course, have Jaydev Unadkat already, Mayank Markande, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Pat Cummins is the captain. I'm reading them the other way because, it's just fun. They're a bowling team. Abdul Samad, Shahbaz Ahmed, Heinrich Klaassen, Aiden Markram, Abhishek Sharma and Nitish Reddy. Now, they have 3 foreigners here, so which perhaps means that Travis Head will come in the second innings to bat as their impact sub.
Travis has got a dream job, hasn't he? It's twice now that he's been used as this impact sub, but he's not had to field.
Yeah.
What a delightful
He'd be loving,
role.
he'd be loving that. Well, I mean, it is the greatest role. If you are a high-quality opening batter, it's just the greatest role in the world.
It's lovely.
Isn't it? Just bat, don't field. What I do like to see, though, is I like to see the batters or the impact sub get introduced late in the piece. Maybe the last 3 or 4 overs. If you're going to bat, I'd just like to see, I don't know how you feel about that, Michael. If you were that impact sub, wouldn't you like to just be out there for 3 or 4 overs at the back end? Just get into the game a little bit.
A few players, they've done it with a few players, right? I think Abhishek Morel once came for 2 overs.
Once one of your bowlers is done with their 4 overs, which should be around about the 15th, 16th over, I just like that impact sub to be out there. You just get a bit of a feel of the pitch, a little bit of a feel of the outfield, the surroundings, maybe.
The one thing they can do with Travis Head, just saying in the first 8 overs, it looks like it's going to be spinning. You can easily get him on just to maybe bowl 1 or 2 overs as well. Yeah. But I totally agree. I mean, I've never done it, so I can't really give you the experience. But if you just sat in a dugout watching and all of a sudden you're thrown like, just got to go out and bat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they can do it. I'll have to wait and see. But I just think you just need a little bit of a feel for what's happening out in the middle.
People could say that, it's the same as batting first, right? You've not been on the pitch and you go running out. But it is different. If the game's been happening for an hour and a half.
You're prepared for batting first. As an opening batter, Michael will tell you, you're prepared for that. That's fine. But if you've got the opportunity to get a little bit of a feel for the surroundings, a feel for the surface, watch the ball come onto the bat a little bit for the last 3 or 4 overs, I just think that's probably a little bit more advantageous.
Maybe you've come up with something. Maybe what he needs to do is get in the bus, go back to the hotel, and then he arrives.
As if
he's batting first. He arrives at halfway house, you go, hi guys, what are you batting? All right.
That's the last thing you want to do in Hyderabad, though, because the ground's an hour and a half away in traffic. It's no good. He'll miss his spot.
You can go down to Starbucks or something and just have a brew.
You're not going to... What?
Speaking
no wonder you guys are not liking the coffee in India.
Coffee. Anyway, carry on.
Oops, did I just lose a potential sponsor?
Yeah.
There's a lot of coffee companies there, go for it. All right, let's have a look at... another thing, though, in this team is that there's no Washington Sundar, right? If I'm looking down there, so what you're saying about Travis Head also makes sense because they don't have an off-spinner. If I'm looking down there...
Well, Markram can bowl a little bit.
Of course, they've not bowled him.
I think that's why they can use Markram if they want to.
Yeah.
At any stage, just to bowl an over or two. And he's not a bad bowler at all. He's big guy, big hands. He likes to give the ball a rip. So they've got that option if they want to.
Actually, they've got a lot of bowling options there because we've seen Abhishek Sharma bowl as well. Yeah. So there's a lot of all-round options for Hyderabad there. When you talk about options, we have to talk about top of the pyramid when options is concerned because their captain is Mr. Options, right? What are the options he's taking in today? Amongst his options, let's have a look at their 11. They're, of course, going to be batting first. So they'll have their captain, Ruturaj Gaikwad, on top. Of course, it's not MS Dhoni who's running the team, but, it's something that you can be forgiven for thinking. But Ruturaj Gaikwad, Rachin Ravindra, Ajinkya Rahane, Daryl Mitchell, Moin Ali, good to see him in there. Shivam Dubey, Ravindra Jadeja, MS Dhoni, Deepak Chahar, Mahesh Tikshana and Tushar Deshpande. So there's no Patirana, that means?
No.
So Patirana is also ill. He is definitely ill because he's been doing really well.
Yeah.
So he's definitely
He's
ill.
not in the impact subs either, so he's obviously ill. So they've gone with Tikshana and brought Moeen in, strengthens their batting, gives them that bowling option. Obviously, if Head comes out, they've got two left-handers in the top three. So he
might open with him.
He may be an option to open the bowling.
They've got a lot of spin, by the way. Huh? They've got a lot of spin.
Travis Head against spin is probably where you'd attack him. Against pace, he's been murdering the pacers.
Tikshana bowls in the power play as well, so you'd probably see Tikshana. This has been the second innings, but you'd probably see Tikshana coming and bowling against Travis Head. Yeah, that's something they'll do.
Well, I think him or Moeen. Moeen doesn't mind the new ball, and as Vaughan said, Travis Head's numbers against spin are a lot less than his numbers against pace. So maybe that's something they're looking at as well with two lefties in the top three.
In case people are wondering where the fizz is, do you guys discuss this on the show before?
No.
No. You know why the Fizz is not playing? Because he's gone back home to get the US visa for the World Cup. It's true, Mike. I'm not making this up. It's absurd.
The days of the internet. We are in the modern era. How do you have to travel to another country to apply for a visa for America?
Maybe you just wanted to nip home.
I don't know, he's bowling well. Simon will tell you, as a bowler, if you're bowling well, you're with a champion team, the team's doing well, you don't want to give that seat up.
And you don't want to give a sucker an even break. What happens if they go bang, bang, and he comes back and he's like,
but he wants to make sure he's going to America.
Well, that's the other thing. That's
New York.
the other thing.
Doesn't want to miss that. If I had to miss a couple of these episodes to go get a US visa, I'd perhaps do that as well. It's two things. I already have one. And secondly, I get mine down the road, so I don't think I'd have to miss the show. So sorry to disappoint you, but you're stuck with me. All right, let's have a look at the impact subs as well. Who is going to replace who? Perhaps let's see if we can figure this out. They've got the four foreigners, so Santana's not going to play. But amongst these, Shardul Thakur, Mukesh Chaudhary. I think Ruturaj gave it away at the toss. He said that Mukesh Chaudhary is going to come in. Is that what he said? Yeah, he said that already. So.
Well, that's another option. You've got a left arm option, which is something that the Sunrisers and Mayank, he's not playing obviously, but the Sunrisers have struggled at times with that left arm option. It gives you something different, so wouldn't be surprised if that does happen.
All right, and do we have the impact subs for Hyderabad as well? If we can just have a look at them and see who's going to come in. I was just thinking obviously Travis Head is going to come in there, but I'm a little surprised that, there's no Washington Sundar, Umran Malik's not playing. Glenn Phillips not being in the 11 of a T20 team is something I will just never, ever, ever understand.
He's kind of competing with Markram, isn't he? Bowls some off spin, hits the ball hard, out of the park. So it's a Markram replacement. If Markram had a bad run, they could look at Phillips in that middle order, but he's never going to make that side at the moment, I don't think, ahead of Aiden Markram.
I reckon he gets in about 5 or 6 other teams. I think if you could trade, I think he'd be one of the first on the trading list for quite a few of the other teams who are desperate for that kind of player.
Yeah. Well, a lot of T20 teams in the world would be desperate for that kind of player, but he doesn't make this Hyderabad team. Anyway, let's talk about Chennai and their batting first. So let's talk about their batters, because look at the options. We talk about options that they have, and they have so many options. They've, of course, got their captain, Ruturaj Gaikwad. It's given them very steady, very lucrative seasons the last few years. And then Rachin Ravindra comes in. And Simon, you've seen him. I saw him in the World Cup, was very impressed by what I saw. But I got a little surprised pleasantly by this little level unlock that he's done. Had you seen this game? Did you know that he's kind of capable of this? Because he's been brutal.
He's a very uncomplicated cricketer. Spent a lot of time with Devon Conway at Wellington. He's a terrifically well-spoken young man. He understands. He's a bit of a cricket nuffy, what you would call down under. He lives and eats and breathes the game. He had a disappointing outing in the last one. Was he 2 from 12? Couldn't get going. But the first couple of games, he looked really good. Likes to play his shots. He gives them that left arm option as well. He's a highly talented cricketer. I thought he'd go for more in the auction, but I think what Stephen Fleming had discussed and what Chennai had discussed, that they thought he was still a little bit untapped at T20 level.
Yeah.
So they're still finding out a little bit more about him.
What
at the
did he go
T20
for? I remember seeing the order. I thought it's the bargain of the century.
Yeah. It was
He went for a
I think
very
1.5, if I remember correctly.
something like that.
And actually, Dooley just mentioned the last game we got 2 from. It's the first time I've ever seen him flustered. I've never seen him flustered. Khalil and Isham were just getting the ball to go away from him.
Just a bad day.
And he was playing the length ball exactly the same. He was trying to play that big booming drive and he was missing it. Rather than just try and glide it and use the pace. But I have to say, across the 12 months that I've been studying him, I think that there's a terrific cricketer there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to go from strength to strength and get better and better. And he bowls a little bit of this, good in the field. Yeah, they've got an absolute steal.
Yeah, 1.8, my producer corrects me, it was not 1.5. 1.8 is what he went for. Yeah, still a bargain. I want to talk about Ajinkya Rahane because this is what the Chennai team does, right? This is their philosophy, this is their ethos, their culture, is that they just, do they reinvent the player? Do they just give them clarity with a role? Do they give them security? What is it that unlocks or taps potential not previously seen?
All of those things. I think when you go into any change room, any environment where your role is clearly defined, it's uncomplicated, and there's zero pressure. And I think that's what MS and Stephen provide in that whole franchise. And the other coaching staff, they just provide that clarity of role. I've said it many, many times on this show, I have not seen a player go from another franchise to Chennai and become a worse player. That every time, every player that has been at another franchise and gone to Chennai has walked away or performed a lot better than they did at their previous franchise. So there's something in that mixture of right from the top down and the clarity of roles. But he's in terrific form at the moment.
But also the release of that tag, the anchor.
Yeah.
An anchor for me is like, again, back in our day, you just had one player that would knock it around and you get a few at the other end giving it a good old whack. There's no room for an anchor in T20 cricket. And I think, Ajinkya's always had the game. He's a beautiful player. And in Test match cricket, probably as good a technician after Rahul Dravid that's played for India. But I think sometimes those technicians, they just need freeing up. They can all play the big shots. And the most important aspect of what CSK bring is consistency in selection. So there's your role. You've got to be aggressive. By the way, if it fails for 3 games, guess what's going to happen? You're going to play the 4th. And guess what's going to happen if it fails 4 times? You're going to play the 5th. And it's the consistency of selection that allows these players that mindset. And that mindset is so important that when you're out there and you've got the backing of the management to play this certain way, and if it doesn't work, you're going to get back to do it again the next game. And they just think if you give all the players this license to play in this way, these players are so good that you're 2 out of 5 games, they're going to come off, and that's enough in T20. You're not expecting every single game for them to come off, but 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, absolutely delighted.
You said fail 4 games, sometimes fail 14 games, and then get a century in the final.
Shane Watson. But the one thing I will say also, and backs up the point, I don't know. You name me a high quality T20 batter that you've seen in the last 6-7 years that hasn't had Test match success. Tell me. You think about Chris Gale. 100 tests, brilliant test player. A.B. de Villiers, Kohli.
Maybe Klassen?
Yeah, maybe Klassen at the moment.
But he probably could have test match because if he was given the chance.
If he was given the opportunity.
Yeah.
But, A.B. de Villiers, they've all been terrifically good test match players. David Warner, great test match player. So very rarely do you find players that are only high quality T20 batters. They don't last long.
It's the biggest myth in the world game that you hear that's, the younger modern player, they want to be a franchise player. It's a load of rubbish. Honestly, it's rubbish because I see it back in the UK, I see it all over the world, see it in Australia. All these players that are coming through, they all want to play red ball cricket. Because the most important aspect of that, their coaches tell them, for you to be a proper player, guess what you've got to do? You've got to spend a lot of time out in the middle. And guess what? Format gives you the most chance to spend a lot of time out in the middle, which is the longer format. So it's just training the brain. You're training the brain to play cricket, to bat, and that comes more so from red ball cricket, and then you just put it into white ball cricket. And obviously the way that they play these days and the kind of bringing up of this kind of modern game into the mind and the cultures of all these dressing rooms, which I don't know of any dressing room in the world that doesn't have the culture. By the way, in T20 cricket, you give it a good throttle.
Yeah, you gotta. There is just no other way to play it. You're watching all the international teams and you say this World Cup is going to be won by the team that can actually, as you say, Michael, hit the most sixes, because that's just the gear that everyone is playing in. So, yeah, there's no room for an anchor. No, not on the show there. On the show? Or Did you mean on the show?
We need you, GK. Just
All right, cool.
if you feel like you need to be wanted, you are wanted.
Just a little bit of validation sometimes.
Naomi's pretty good.
Yeah, she is actually.
She's excellent.
Just a nice word now and then.
Yeah, she's really good.
Doesn't hurt.
She's very good at predicting as well. Apparently, she had a good night last night.
Yeah, she 2 from 2 last night.
She's climbing
Are you
up
feeling
the
the
charts,
pressure?
huh? I really am.
Yeah.
I really am. I mean, I'm not allowed to show that points table now. Apparently, there's a
glitch in the system?
No, apparently there's a legal notice against me from Joy and Harsha that I can't show that chart as many times as I showed it. So yeah, I think I overplayed my hand. But anyway, let's talk about. We asked Michael about the batter Ajinkya Rahane. I'm going to ask about another India stalwart. That's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and Bhuvi, who has been a king of this format. He's been a king with the white ball. This season, he's played, not got a single wicket. What have you seen there, Simon?
Interesting. Just reading our Cricbuzz app, and Deepak Chahar was saying the ball is not swinging as much, he finds, this season. So that's always been one of Bhuvi's great strengths, particularly early on, picking up wickets in the power play. He hasn't been able to do that, and he's getting met at the back end. I like the fact that Natarajan is back in this side. I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar, to me, is becoming more of a Trent Bolt type cricketer. I would like to see him bowl 3 in the power play. Try and swing the ball, pick up wickets, and then maybe if he has to come back, make it the 11th, 12th, 13th over. Done. Yeah. Natarajan, Pat Cummins, your job. Cummins has got to take some responsibility as well and bowl at the back end. Bowl in the last 4 overs. High-priced player, international player, take some responsibility, use himself and Natarajan at the back end, and have Bhuvi done by 13, 14.
Yeah.
You know, he's going at the death. He's not quite as quick as he once was, and people are understanding his slower balls, his knuckleball a little bit more as well. So I'd say just use him inside that power play. Do what they do with Deepak Chahar a little bit. And if that's the role, and if you give him that clarity of role, he might find he has a little bit of success, and then he starts to get the confidence back, and all of a sudden your team might get on a bit more of a roll. But that's how I would like to see him used a little bit more in this Hyderabad outfit.
Get him done by the 12th.
Yeah.
Impact sub.
Correct.
Get Travis Head in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, can totally do that. Yeah, you can do that. I hope that Bhuvi comes good, because the thing is, if this ball swings, and if it swings at all, Bhuvi is one of the masters, right, of doing that. He's one of the master technicians, artists. You want to see him do that. And it's been a while since we saw that, so it would be nice to see him do that. For Chennai fans, don't worry about your captain, is all I want to say. Don't worry about your captain is Ruturaj Gaikwad, by the way, just want to add that. Don't worry about your captain. Your captain does exactly what the Mumbai Indians do in every season. Start slow and then pick up, right? That's what Ruturaj has always done. And he, again, in this batting lineup, Michael, he can sometimes go below the radar because Shivam Dube can tonk the ball, Ajinkya Rahane tonks the ball, but his consistency sometimes goes below the radar.
Yeah, I mean, I guess last year was a different year. He started nicely, but look, he's a quality player. I guess this year as a captain, I knew when I first started captaincy, it took me quite a few games to get used to it. Started to manage people and the tactical side of the game. It's all going through your mind before, you just used to take guard and have a bat. So there's a bit more in his mind than there was a year or so ago. But he's a class act. He'll come through. He's got the, as I said, he's got the know-how of how to catch up in the IPL. There'll be other players that start slowly and can't catch up because they don't have that experience to do so. But I think you're right. He'll be absolutely fine. Yeah,
and of course he falls prey to left-arm bowlers. That's who he's got out to in the first 3 innings. So this time Hyderabad has decided to keep a few. They've got a few today. They've got Natarajan, they've got Jaydev Unadkat, so they've got a bit of left arm to trouble him. Yeah, they have. And Unadkat was into the side for the previous game for Natarajan. Again, he's another player that we haven't really seen the best of at this level. At the IPL, he's sort of gone from team to team. He's been bought for big numbers. Yeah. Hasn't always been at his best. Natarajan more of a back-end bowler than a new ball bowler. So I'd like if they start up with Unadkat. I think that's their better option than starting with Natarajan. So, you want to you've got to look at opposition players as well and say, what's their weakness? Okay, Ruturaj has got out to left armers. Let's start with Unadkat. Let's give another left armer an opportunity and see if we can crack the code again. Yeah, okay. So there's a couple of things that we need to do, all right? Actually, what I need to do, I need to just distance myself from Saimi. Not personally, I'm very fond of her, but on the chart, right? On the chart of the guessing game, I need to get a couple right today. If not, just one maybe, because there you see, she's like right there now. She's 36.36. I'm 39.25. Manoj Tiwari's in there as well. Let's see where... Michael, I can't... Are you on this list?
Yeah, I'm top of the tree, on
Second
the right.
right.
I'm on the top of the second division.
I was saying last night though, GK.
Second division, top of the second division.
Top of the second division. You cannot win this
You're bottom
without
of the
a
first
bullseye.
division.
Yeah, what do you mean?
What do you
So
mean?
if you don't have a bullseye throughout the whole season, even if you're on top, you don't win.
Oh, so you've got to get
So
one right on the nose.
It's the first person on the list with a bullseye
Okay.
that wins this competition.
So here's the thing. I think
saying.
that's Michael. I think that's Simon's second yellow. I think because first he said that he likes Simi more. Now he said that I need a bullseye. He's changing the rules. I just want to tell you guys, she's awesome, but she doesn't order dinner for you guys.
No,
Good
true.
point.
Yeah.
Good point.
So I just want you both to know where your supper comes from.
Yeah, good.
I'm right with you.
Right?
Those wasabi prawns are magnificent.
Yeah. Do you want to just do you want to do a take
Yeah,
two?
I'll take
Go.
two. GK's absolutely brilliant. He's the best in the business, and I hope he wins the competition.
That's so sweet of you.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Michael, you don't need to add to that, but just in case you wanna.
No, I really like Simon. I think she should win.
Just give me 1 second. Just cancel the prawns, the wasabi prawns. just cancel them. Thank you. All right, what are the guesses for today? Who? Simon, you want to go first?
Gosh, high scoring
Go.
last time, not the same this time. 207.
207. This is a tough one today, by the way, because this is Hyderabad, but Chennai is batting first, but it's not the same pitch that got 277. So we're completely flying blind here.
195.
190. You got. Where do I go?
High or low?
Where do I go? Should I go 217? Ooh. Jeez, I'm nervous saying 217. All right, we've got the joy factor question. I really shouldn't be this reckless if I want to keep my lead, but I am apparently. Here's the question. This cricketer played 22 tests for India. His wife was... I know this. His wife was India's #1 ranked tennis player for 13 years, and their son featured in the Davis Cup. Identify him. I finally know this. Makes me so
Really?
happy. I'm not going to say it, but I know this.
It's generally involving someone or some way, shape, or form from the two teams that play on the day. So that's your clue.
No.
It's not?
I give-
Okay, don't worry.
And just to prove to you that I do know it, I'm just going to say a mode of dismissal, which I don't like being called the mode
Oh,
of
yes,
dismissal.
yes. I like it. Okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. All right, send in your answers. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. Hashtag Joy Factor. By the way, that hint, I could not have spoon-fed that hint to you any better. Like, this is literally the answer. So if you don't get it right after that, no prawns for you as well. All right. Well, that's all we have time for. We're going to scoot out of here. Is that it? Is that business? We got it covered? Everything done? Anything else? What? Anything? No, nothing? That's it? We're all done?
Game started.
Good. Dinner time?
Yeah.
Excellent. We're going to do that. I am going to choose my favorite out of Simon and Michael, and that person's going to eat dinner. The other one's not. The other one's going to be on Cricbuzz Combox with me at the end of the 10th over, so do join us then. From Simon Doull, Michael Vaughan, and Gaurav Kapur, it is thank you for watching Cricbuzz Live. We're here with you all evening, so don't be shy to join us. Goodbye.
Jaipur via Kota,
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दो